Welcome everybody to the first episode of Vector Wednesday. My name is Frank, and today we'll be learning how to start a gradient mesh face. So stay tuned and we'll get started. The first thing you want to do when working with a gradient mesh is go to File, Place, bring in your image. Then click on your first layer, go to Template, check Template, and check the dim images and turn it up to 15%. This allows you to see your image through when you're in outline mode. And how I start my gradient mesh is I draw a box. I start everything from a square or a rectangle. Click the square, grab the gradient mesh tool, click the square in the middle, and I shape from there. You want to start shaping through using the light sources on the picture. So you want to curve where there are curves. You want to add a gradient mesh point. But when you start off simple. Start off with minimal amount of lines and then add more. Because if you add too many at the beginning, you can cause yourself a lot of trouble because you got to do a lot of shaping and it just can get jumbled up and confusing. So start off with a small amount of lines on your mesh and you work up from there. And you see here I'm adding the shapes. I'm starting to shape the lower chin and I'm moving the handles on the gradient mesh handles. Just curving it, just like working with the pen tool. And also you see I'm using a convert anchor tool, which is located, just hold the pen tool down, it give you like 4 or 5 options. It's the bottom option. And the convert anchor tool, it allows you to swivel one side of your handles, because if you use the indirect selection tool and without the convert anchor tool, it will move both sides and it'll give you a funky shape at the bottom and the shape you're looking for at the top. Convert anchor tool allows you to swivel just one side of the anchor points. If you work with the pen tool, this will make sense. So I'm just going through shaping, moving around, and as I build upon my mesh, I'm gonna also be curving my mesh lines and shaping those before I start to add color. Because you just want to shape it just like when an artist draws a sketch of a face. I usually would put this middle mesh point at the eye area, but here I want to work around the lower, below the eyelids and get that shape in, and I can add the eyes mesh parts later. But I just want you guys to understand, when working with this tool, you gotta have patience. That's the #1 key. Because you can get frustrated. You see me going through here doing all these things and this whole total process to what the finished piece will look like that I'll show at the end of the video took about an hour. But that's just basic meshing. I would go back and add more to refine details, but you want to get that basic mesh there first before you start working on different areas. Like the eyes, I didn't add the eyes on this final piece because I want you to see what it looks like without eyes. And I would add the eyes on a separate mesh. The eyes, the white of the eye, the iris, I would add those things on a separate mesh. So I'm just going through adding all this detail, fine points of just shaping, moving things where I want to, because once you get one mesh line in place, the other ones will somewhat follow the same direction that you had the first ones in. So that's why it's important to shape at the beginning, and it'll make things easier for you at the end. So while this does that, I'm gonna speed up the video a bit. Now that I'm done with the basic putting the lines in place, I'm starting the shaping and adding lines to the contour. So this is going to follow the curves of the light areas, the makeup areas on the cheek, and the light on the sides. It's going to just be a rough basic outline of that. And it tells my mesh lines which direction to flow. And this is how you get the realistic look to mesh work, because it brings out details that just doing a basic illustration won't do. And gradient mesh is a variant of colors, so between one mesh point to the next one, it blends those two colors together and gets that realistic look to it. But I will be skipping on because I don't want to make it too long, and I don't. You guys, I know you wouldn't sit and watch me put colors in each dot, so bear with me. I'm gonna skip forward to another section. So as you see, there is a method to the madness of all this clicking, and there is also a shortcut. If you click the indirect selection tool and click the eyedropper, you can place these points in pretty fast instead of going from one tool to the next. And on the Mac, is command switches between the two tools, so it will save you a lot of pain in your wrist and a lot of time. And also, as you see me going through clicking, I sped this section up just to get through it. I'm clicking on the actual dot, getting that color from the exact spot. But some places, like at the bottom of the chin, I go a little above the dot just to even the color out a bit. And I just want you guys to just get the gist of it and leave your comments for the next video you would like to see. Hopefully this will be helpful to you and get you further in the process and knowing where to start and how your picture will be looking during this process. So just go to outline and you can see what it looks like. And here shortly I will be showing the finished version. But yeah, leave a comment and let me know what you want the next tutorial to be about. If it's a gradient mesh tutorial, I'll try to work on it for next week. And the one with the most thumbs up will be the one chosen. So you guys get out and vote, spread the video around, get your friends here if they want to learn about the gradient mesh process. And if there aren't any votes, I will just work on a blending, gradient mesh blending, how to blend like the lips and into the face mesh. And it will be done and look, it'll flow nicely. Also, I also create my nose on a different mesh and just blend it in with the original face mesh. So at the end of this process, I might have 5 different mesh objects: the eyes, the nose, the lips, and but it works fine. Just starting off, it'll be a lot of work to try to get everything all on one mesh. You would be frustrated. Trust me, I've been there. But over the process, but now at the point I am now, I can do everything on one mesh. But it takes a learning to get to that point. But it's fun, guys. Just trust me. Just be patient with it and just keep practicing, keep working. And this is the final mesh of the face without the eyes and just the base shape of the nose, no mouth. And this is how your mesh will look when you get to a point of somewhat completion on it. But until next time, guys, I'll see you next Wednesday. Vector Wednesday. Be here, bring a friend. Peace.